first person to say that you hired the wrong lawyers. I'm the first one that said that your lawyers destroyed you. I'm the first one to say that the Mann Act is a very serious charge. But Mark Garagos is a celebrity lawyer. He's not a real good lawyer in a courtroom. As proof, check him out. Now, it's my belief, Diddy, because you've been friends, all right? I did a little research here, folks, okay? Diddy and his attorney, Mark Garagos, had known each other for years, and Garagos also represents Combs' mother. Garagos has been involved in representing Sean Diddy Combs on various legal matters. They were all civil. However, all right, they state Garagos has known Diddy for 20 years, and he's speaking about his defense. Now, it's my belief that Diddy hired Mark Agnello because Mark Garagos referred him. So, for some reason, Diddy trusts Mark Garagos, who's basically a civil defense lawyer, okay? And his claim to fame was a big civil case that he won. But by now, we all know Scott Peterson's doing life in prison. His lawyer was Mark Garagos. So, folks, before I begin in to tell you what this devastating news is, okay, when I come here and do my live shows, which I enjoy, because I love you people that come here, okay? You love my glasses. I'm going to tell you about these glasses and a favor I just did for the guy that gave me these glasses. You see, you help other people out, you help them in return, okay? I'm 80 years old, folks. 80. I'm not 20. But I'm willing to bet you I could outlast a 20-year-old guy. I could do more in a day than a 20-year-old could. I thank the Lord that I'm able to do that. So, let's begin. Oh, by the way, okay, don't let me forget. You know, folks, when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And I had a conversation this morning with Elizabeth Geddes, the U.S. attorney who prosecuted me, and she's also the U.S. attorney that prosecuted R. Kelly. She's now in private practice. So, Lindy, remind me to talk a little bit more about that there. But let's get into Diddy, okay? And folks, don't forget, hit those buttons, please. Help me out a little bit here, okay? Okay, don't be shy, all right? I appreciate it. So, what happened today? Okay? Well, where is it? Bear with me. Here it is. From Jay Clayton. Now, here's Diddy. Oh, Trump's going to give him a pardon. Who was the first one that said Trump would not give him a pardon? It was me. Now, folks, there's a lot of people on YouTube, and they're giving you misinformation. But one thing you could trust, like me, don't like me, it's up to you. But you're going to get the truth, whether you like it or not. And you know what? A lot of times, the truth hurts. So let's talk, okay? Diddy's never getting a pardon from Trump, okay? Trump, now the new guy in charge of the Southern District is Jay Clayton, appointed by Donald Trump after he fired Marine Comey. Now, I don't know what Marine Comey really did. I could assume, all right, certain things, but there's something dirty that happened. But, I don't have any proof on it, okay? All right? This is September 1st. Now, today's the 2nd, right? And it's Tuesday. Oh, my God, it's Tuesday. It's not Monday. Okay? To the Honorable Judge Aaron Subramanian, United States District Judge. United States versus Combs. United States versus Combs. Dear Judge Subramanian, the government respectfully submits this letter in response to the court's July 9, 2025 order directing the parties to provide sentencing data to the court in advance of the sentencing proceeding in this matter, docket 451. Specifically, the court requested that the parties provide available data on sentences imposed, where the primary or sole conviction was for violation 18 U.S.C. 242 or 2, the base offense level under the sentencing guideline was calculated under 2G and a criminal history category. What that is, the Mann Act, okay? The court further directed the parties to identify cases that match these criteria by docket number, jurisdiction, and instructed that no argument should be included in the letter. The government has located several cases that satisfy the criteria identified by the court, which are listed below. Folks, they didn't list one, they didn't list two, they didn't list three. Over 50 cases of people convicted of the Mann Act, which Diddy has 2 convictions on the Mann Act. See, folks, look at case after case after case. All right, next page, case after case after case. Okay, this is all from Pacer. We pay for this. Okay? So, when I ask you folks, hit that thanks button and help me out, okay? I have costs involved. Creators, good creators, spend money to bring you the content. There's Nancy Lyon Gray again. Thank you. Nancy's always coming through. God bless her. All right, thank you, Nancy. Folks, on one case alone, or on several cases, the Mann Act is a law passed by Congress, and it holds up to a 10-year maximum sentence. 10 years, folks. So it is a serious crime. It's not like Mark Garagos says. How could he call himself a lawyer and say that the Mann Act is like a no-burger charge? How could a lawyer who went to law school, is educated, and say that? Huh? Now, what was the underlying factor of these people that got 10 years on one count of Mann Act? The underlying factor? Just what I said a long time ago. I said Diddy's lawyers were the worst and they destroyed him. And they did. because they were the first one in the courtroom at Diddy's trial to acknowledge that their client was a very violent very violent individual. They said it. There is no criminal defense lawyer that's good and worth their money that would ever say something like that. Because they know it's going to be turned around and used against them. And that's exactly what happened with Diddy. See, Diddy, your name of your company was Bad Boy Records. All that bad boy stuff is now going to come back and bite you, all right, in the butt. Folks, I can't read all these cases to you. If I did, it'd take me a couple of days, all right? Diddy has paid his lawyers, from what I hear, I'm not sure exactly. Paid? Let me change it. Diddy's lawyers have robbed him, all right, out of over $30 million, from what I'm hearing. Over $30 million he has paid these guys for his legal defense. So, how many years could Diddy get? Oh, there were enhancements too. Oh, did I forget that? Enhancements. You see, people forget about the enhancements. Now, I've been where Diddy is at right now, okay? I've been in those shoes, okay? I know what it is when you're waiting for sentencing. It's when you're waiting on one single person that you never met, that you don't know, but that person is going to decide your fate. You could bet your boots, your stomach is turning. You're very nervous. Very nervous, folks. The reason you're so nervous, you know that you're a bad boy. You know that you've done other crimes, but you weren't indicted for those crimes. You're worried that they might come up and find those other crimes and indict you. That's one worry, okay? You got your lawyers telling you, we could beat this man out, we'll get it overturned, we'll do this, we'll do that. You see, I don't believe Diddy is dictating to his lawyers that are going out there on social media and broadcast all the stuff that they have, okay? I don't think so, all right? I think they're doing that on their own accord and, tell Diddy, hey, we did this. They're charging him for that, okay? Now, what's developed because of Diddy being so popular, all right, Mark Aguilar has become popular. But I did a check of the top 10 criminal lawyers in the city of New York. And guess what? Mark Aguilar's name is not there. No. So why wouldn't a guy like Diddy, with all the money that he had, hire the best criminal defense lawyer you could find? Instead, he hired PR people. That's what he hired. He didn't hire lawyers. He hired PR people. You could hire a PR person any day of the week over here, pay him $5,000 to $10,000 a month. Okay? He didn't have to pay $30 million to get his PR. He didn't have to pay those lawyers that. Huh? Everybody wants to say how great they won because they won the RICO. Huh? They didn't beat the RICO. Maureen Coleman beat the RICO. She should have brought, she didn't need the RICO. She had enough charges to convict him that he would have gotten 30, 40 years, just like R. Kelly, okay, without the RICO, okay? I know the law. I'm not a lawyer, but I've read many law books. How do I know? Why did I do that? Because I didn't have one indictment. I didn't have two indictments in my life. I've had 4 indictments, okay? And each time I went and read the law books about the crimes that I was indicted for. And that's how I learned, okay? If I didn't read the law books, if I listened to my lawyers, and look, I have one paid lawyer, one lawyer that I paid, all right? One lawyer that I paid, handsomely. And I ended up firing him right in front of the judge. Jerry Capici, who writes Gangland, wrote about it the next day in the New York paper, okay? And then I got public defenders, or court appointed. And I'm gonna tell you, in the federal court system, especially in New York, some of these court appointed lawyers are much better than the paid lawyers, okay? My co-defendants had them, okay? They beat the murder charges, okay? With a lawyer that the government gave them. Now, they say Diddy had 10 lawyers, he had a legal team, he had all this. I'm going to tell you something. You know how many lawyers just in the Southern District of New York they have? Just in the Southern District of New York. 220 lawyers. I don't know how many paralegals. So Jay Clayton has over 200 people digging for this information, and they came up with over 50 cases where people on the Mann Act got 10 years, which is the maximum. And the majority of them are, all right? You know, somebody just asked who I ratted on. I'm ratting on you, Aussie Jace. Take them out, Lindy. Okay? Take them out. Okay? Take that Aussie Jace out. Because he don't listen, he don't read, he doesn't know a damn thing. Okay? So, I'll take him out. Yeah, he's gone. All right? Folks, you don't show me any love or respect, okay? I'm not giving it back, okay? I show you, I come here dressed, I come here clean, showered, all right? My nails are done, all right? And I come out here and I show you respect, okay? I thank everybody for you folks that come here. I thank every one of my subscribers for your loyalty, your comments. Please leave me a comment and tell me what you think, all right? I really, sincerely. Folks, I don't lie. You know why I don't lie? You know what liars gotta do? They gotta remember what they said. I don't have to, because I tell the truth. I believe in doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do, okay? Now listen, I know that Diddy's got a propaganda machine out there. I think it's probably being uh, overseen by Christine Corn. Nobody hears about her no more. Okay? Nobody hears about her. Funny. But I believe she's the one running it. You all seen what a few did last week to me, okay, where they try to come up with my address. And, you know, if they're on here, okay, folks, I live in Beverly Hills, California. It's a very small town. I walk the streets every day. All right, so somebody want to find me? I'm very easy to find. If you think I have any fear in myself, I don't, okay? Because I know that you are no burgers. You're nothing, okay? For you haters, all right? But let's talk about Jay Clayton, who the President Donald Trump appointed, all right, who's going after Diddy and wants Diddy to get the maximum amount of time. Jay Clayton is a United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York. He assumed the role in August 2025, last month, having previously served as interim U.S. Attorney beginning in April 2025. Since taking office, Mr. Clayton has prioritized the safety and interests of New Yorkers and the millions who visit the city and region each year. His prosecutorial focus includes gun violence. Oh, who's got guns? Oh, Diddy has guns. Did we forget about that? I didn't. Who's the first one that told you about enhancements on the pre-sentencing report? I believe I was. Okay? See? Each count of the Mann Act is 10 years each. So the judge can give him 20 years there. Then he can enhance Diddy for the gun charges. Yes, he could. He had several witnesses talk about how Diddy pulled out the gun, pointed it at him. You had the FBI agent that found the guns at Diddy's house with the serial number taken off. That's another crime, taking the serial number off. And then everybody talked about the drugs. And then who was in charge of all this? It was Diddy. That's a managerial role. All right? Thank you, folks. I only try to bring you proper information, the truth, and yes, I could talk to it because I've been there. All right. So why did I have the rat? Who is Andy Dufresne? Okay? Oh, see, I thought I took you out of here. Okay? I don't know Andy Dufresne. I never read it on anybody in my entire life. I never will. So why don't you learn to read, Aussie, okay? Everything's in my book. My paperwork's in my book. I went away and did my time like a man, okay? So I don't know where you people come from, who put you in here, okay? I'm sure you didn't subscribe. And if you don't like what I'm saying, give me the thumbs down. I don't care if you give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down. But folks, hit that thumb button one way or the other, okay? I appreciate it, okay? So Mr. Clayton is really a great U.S. attorney. And does he talk to Donald Trump? Yes, he does. Because Donald Trump gave him that position, put him in. So he's the guy who wants the judge to sentence Diddy to the maximum. No. You know, I said before, if Diddy got 10 years, he should kiss the ground that he walks on. Because these are serious charges, folks. So don't believe what Mark Garagos and that Henry Levin and Vlad, okay, and these others are telling you that a Mann Act is nothing. I mean, it's crazy. Folks, you know about the Department of Justice? They got over 115,000 employees. Just the Department of Justice. Just the department, over 115,000. 34,000 at the FBI agency alone. Now, some people wrote me and left me comments this morning that, what was the question now? That the U.S. attorneys who prosecuted Diddy are being investigated. Okay, I feel they should be, but I've seen no facts about that happening. I have no idea whether they are or not, so I can't speak on that. There's Bill Jackson. Hey, Bill, you know there's a big difference between, okay, Sammy Gravano. Sammy Gravano was a rat, an informant, and put a lot of people away besides John Gotti. He made a great deal with the U.S. Attorney's Office. I believe he had to do 5 years on it. Okay? So, you know, I want this guy, he writes me a lot, and I want, what was his name again? Robinson there? Where is he? There's my buddy, Agent Orange, thank you. Bill Jackson, yeah. Bill Jackson, obviously you support Diddy, and I could respect that there. All right, Diddy needs friends and people to support him like everybody else does, okay? But, you know, there's nothing wrong with that there, and I honestly respect that. But you should get your facts correctly, okay? And understand what I'm saying and why I'm saying it. So, Bill, understand, Diddy, if he would have called me when he got indicted, he would have had the best lawyers in town. And he wouldn't have paid 30 or 40 million. He wouldn't have been robbed. So take a look at what his lawyers are doing, okay? His lawyers actually know that he's going to get more. He's not going to be walking out of jail come October 3rd. That's not going to happen, okay? And if that happens, I'll move to Italy. How's that? Okay? I'll move to Italy if that happens. Because I could become a citizen over there because I'm 100% Italian blood. So, trust me, the government's got a lot more money than Diddy. And Diddy is not that liquid in cash anymore. Yeah, he's still worth a few million, don't get me wrong. 200-300 million if he could sell his assets. But the home here in Holmby Hills, nobody wants to buy it. It's a beautiful home. Great piece of property. But nobody wants to buy it. He had it up for sale for $60 million. All right? Not even an offer. I think there was one offer, it was around, I think they offered around $15-20 million. It was sort of ridiculous offer. Okay? So, Bill Jackson, I hope that I answered your question. And like I said, I respect it. Okay? You see, in a way, Diddy is the underdog because he's sitting in prison. And I firmly believe, and I'm going to say it again, if he only gets 10 years, he should kiss the ground there. This is September. He's been in jail for 1 year. If he gets 10 years, he's got to do 8.5 years on that there. He's done one, so he'd only have 7.5 years left. He'll be able to see daylight. Okay? So, when I talk about something, I know what I'm talking about because I studied it, I did my research. I had a totally different show planned for today until this came out this morning, okay? And we get this information from Pacer. That the federal, anything you want to know about anything in the federal system is on Pacer. And you pay for every single page. We pay several $100s a month to have this service because I'm getting a lot of information from there. Now, I'm going to be talking about other criminal cases that are coming out. Very similar to Diddy. The Alexander brothers, okay? Fitch, the Abercrombie and Fitch people, okay? And I think, I think the Alexander brothers, they hired Mark Agnello, okay? See? Because the publicity they got. Not because they're great lawyers, because they're not. But we'll see. Let's see what happens. But, in my opinion, okay, I was in the federal system, and we had a lot of great attorneys. And there's a lot better than Mark Agnello. They made such a mistake that when they said our client is a violent person. Because when you take the Mann Act, then maybe you only get a couple of years on, but you add the violence in there, and now it becomes serious. And who's the first person that said that? A long time ago? Me. And who's saying it now? Jake Clayton, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District. All right? I don't know if I thank you folks enough, okay? A lot of you people here come here constantly. I appreciate it. I don't know why here we are. We only got 45 people here, okay? Folks, have you hit my subscribe button and the thanks button and all those buttons? And let's talk about that thanks button. Yesterday I was going through YouTube and I see this guy, all right, and I never seen him before, but he's telling people not to hit the thanks button. And I looked, he only had 3 views, okay? So maybe he's just beginning. I don't ask for it. Of course you don't ask for it. You only got 3 people, okay? All right? You haven't done any work yet, and nobody knows who you are. So who am I? My name is Ori Spado. I'm known as the Accidental Gangster. I wrote this book called The Accidental Gangster, From Insurance Salesman to Hollywood Fixer. My show today, I was going to come and tell you about, was going to be about when I joined the United States Army, and I was stationed at Schofield Barracks in Hawaii. How somebody put a gun to my head. Things that I'd done I was making, what was it, $34.50 a month, or was it 74.50 a month. All right, but yet I had an apartment in Waikiki that in those days was 150. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the hustle that I was doing when I was 18, 19 years old. And I had a whole thing to tell you about, but I'll do it. I'm going to save that for another time. Uh, but this thing came up. I firmly look. I might be wrong. You know, I'm like all of you. I'm not right all the time. I make mistakes, and when I do, I tell you about it. But I firmly believe, with what I'm reading now, what the judge, remember that judge said, saw and listened to every single word of that trial. He saw the jury's reactions. He saw Diddy's reaction. He saw Diddy when Diddy was trying to talk to the jurors, giving them facial expressions, okay? He knows that Diddy, while at MDC, was using other inmates' phone time, all right, to call victims to try to bribe them. We know he bribed the guy at the hotel here, right down the street, the Intercontinental Hotel, where he beat Cassie. The judge has seen all that there. And don't think judges are stupid, no matter who they are. You will not find a stupid judge. They're all very smart people with great memories. Okay? So, I wanted to share that with you. I had some other stuff. Okay? We talked about R. Kelly. Here's one thing that I got out. A guy in North Carolina, sentenced 120 months. That's 10 years for the Mann Act. And don't forget, after his time he serves in prison, he's going to be given supervised release. Now, what is supervised release? Those are orders that the judge instilled. My prediction, Diddy will get 4 or 5 years. I have 5. 5 years. No, I have 4. 4 years of supervised release. And I had extra stringent rules of things that I was able to do and go when I got released. In addition, I had to report once a month to the probation officer in downtown Los Angeles, because I got assigned here, because I live here. And then once a week, I had to go to the halfway house, and I had to give them a drug test and check in once a week. Although I didn't do drugs, and I don't do drugs, but yet I had to give him a drug test. So Diddy's going to have to do, Diddy's got drugs, so he's going to have to do a drug test every week. He's not going to be able to hang around with a lot of people that are his friends right now who are felons. Can't be around them. No, Booger meant Bill Jones. Who is he? No. Liberty Bio, he says, see, you must be a born again, my brother. Or your religion will not save you. Only Jesus Christ can save my brother. He loves you. I am not a born again, but I am a Catholic. And, I was born a Catholic and I will die a Catholic. But I am, not really overly religious, but I pray a lot, okay? I do pray every morning, every night, sometimes even during the day, okay? We all need the faith and to believe that there is a higher power than we are, okay? I believe in that there. Well, folks, I think that's enough about Diddy for today. What do you think? Let me tell you about, and I was very hesitant, I gotta be honest, all right? But Elizabeth Geddes, who was the U.S. Attorney on the Colombo crime family indictment that I was indicted on in 2008, all right, was also the U.S. Attorney on the R. Kelly, who got him convicted of RICO and 8 counts of the Mann Act, the Mann Act. And, I told you while on here, while I was here live, I'm going to give her a call because she's in private practice. And I was a little bit nervous, I got to tell you. All right? It's not everybody that calls up the U.S. Attorney, okay? But I did. And we had a lovely, she answered the phone, okay? And I let her know, I said, this is a voice from the past. I said, you might be a little bit surprised. This is Orlando Spado. I says, first of all, I want you to know that I don't have any ill feelings towards you or anything. Okay, I understand you were doing your job. I says, and I got the utmost respect for you and what you've accomplished, and so forth. And anyways, I said, I have a podcast I do on YouTube, and I says, I think it would be a great interview if I could interview you. And she said, she says, you got my email? I said, yes, I got your email also. Okay? And somebody just sent me 100. What is that? I can't see it. All right? 100x10. What is that? Hey, by the way, folks, if you apply, I got a membership down there, $4.99 a month, $9.90 a month. All right, please check it out, okay? And please become a member of my channel. Anything you folks can do, trust me, I'm one guy that deeply appreciates it. Okay, all right. If I was sitting on a pile of money, I wouldn't ask you. Okay, I came out of prison with $150 in my name, and I'm still rebuilding my life at the age of 80 years old. So all the help that I can get is deeply appreciated. But anyways, Elizabeth, we had a great conversation, okay? And she says, please email me. She said, I'm preparing for a trial right now, all right? And anybody needs a criminal defense lawyer in New York, I would definitely recommend her, okay? Because she knows what it is to be one of the best U.S. attorneys that there was, okay? And now to be on the other side. We had another guy that was big, U.S. attorney, who handled a lot of organized crime cases, and he did a great job. So, they got a lot of experience, a lot of know-how, and they know the ins and outs of the court system. So these are all good things to know. I hope none of you get in trouble. I don't want any of you getting in trouble, okay? remember, do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. But I want to tell you, I had that conversation with her, and I still can't believe it myself. Okay, I just can't. But I did do that there. So, folks, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Okay, I hit that like button, and if you don't like what I say, hit the unlike button. That's okay too. Okay, I can take it. So, folks, I want to thank you all for coming here today. And I'm going to be back tomorrow with a brand new show and something different. Unless something pops up on Diddy again, we never know. But I could assure you, okay, you hear Tisha telling you and other people tell you what Diddy's going through in prison. They had no clue. They don't know. I do know, okay, that what they're saying is not true because I speak to a prison guard at NDC, and that's not happening, folks. Diddy's okay. He's in no danger there, okay? As long as he does his time, but he's quite nervous, and rightfully he should be, okay? He should be very nervous because he don't know what his future is. And when you're in that position, you're locked up, and you don't know what your future is, you got nowhere to go, okay? So I hope that he is praying, okay, like he said he is. All this crap that he wants to be released so he could be with his family. Well, why weren't you with your family before you got indicted? If you were with your family and doing the right things, Diddy, then none of this would be happening to you. But instead, you were having these freak-out parties 4 or 5 days in a row. I'm sure your children were not around then, right? But now you want to do everything right because you think the judge is going to believe you. How can they believe you? All right? Let's see. Sammy the Bull did indeed leave and Senate back in the 1990s. That is where he got his plastic surgery. Says the queen of plastic surgery. I didn't even know he had plastic surgery, Nancy. Okay, I didn't know that. Sammy had cancer, you know that. I don't know if he still got it, if it's in remission. Okay, I don't know. All right. Thank you, my friend Nancy. God bless that gal. She sent me a George Foreman grill, and I made my first steak on it yesterday. It was really good. Thank you, Nancy, again. Okay. Rocco's going to visit me in Italy. He said, because Diddy's coming home. Okay, Rocco. What do you say, buddy? We'll see. All right? Italy's a great place, folks. So I got no problem moving there. Okay? All right? Let's see some other people. Agent Orange, remember the song, Don't Mess with Bill. Yep. Mimi, if you're in New York, then I would recommend Elizabeth Getty's right now. Okay? What did I do? Aussie, I don't know these names you're coming up. All right?